Today we're going to be talking about contrast. Contrast in art is putting opposite elements next to each other to bring out the differences in them. Contrast can apply to all the elements of art, which are, to review, line, shape, value, texture, and color. In this work of art by Edvard Munch, you can see contrasting lines. For example, they vary in weight or thickness. Some are thick, some are thin. We also have lines that are different directions creating contrast. Some are more vertical, some are more diagonal. We also have different kinds of lines like freehand versus mechanical. For example, this kind of line is more freehand, where lines that can be created with a ruler are categorized as more mechanical. Here's another work of art by Edvard Munch where we can see contrast in line. This cutout by Henri Matisse shows contrast in shape. The background shapes are more geometric, like squares or rectangles, where the foreground shapes are more organic or free-form shapes that he cut. Here's another example showing the same contrast in shape. We also have contrast in value. When we're talking about value in art, we're talking about light and dark. So in order to have contrast, you need to put really dark next to really light. Caravaggio is a great example of this. You can see his very dramatic light right against this dramatic dark, even the dramatic lighting of the faces. Here's another Caravaggio. It's a little violent. You can see again that really intense lighting, which is also called tenebrism, that contrast. We also have contrast in texture. A great example of texture, of course, is Vincent van Gogh. You can see the background. Some of these areas are more smooth in texture, which creates this contrast against these areas that have a lot more of a thick or rough or liney texture. And here's another example where we have that contrast in texture. Some areas smooth, some areas texture, even the direction of the texture. Let's review some color theory. If we're looking at this color wheel, let's start with our first primary color, which is red. We're going to go straight across the color wheel to find its opposite that has a lot of contrast, which is going to be green. This is our first complementary pair. Our next primary color is yellow. If we go right across the color wheel from yellow, we come to purple or violet. This pair is going to have a lot of contrast. Let's go to blue, our third primary color, and then let's go across the color wheel to its complement, which is orange. Half of our color wheel is warm colors, colors like red, orange, yellow, and yellow-green. And the other half of our color wheel is cool colors, colors like blue, green, and violets. This painting by Monet is a great example of contrast in color. We have that blue on the outside, which is opposite to the orange colors that are used. We also have these really intense or saturated warm colors in the middle contrasted with those cool blues. In this Monet painting, we can see that those flowers really pop because they're red and they're set against their opposite or complementary color, which is green. Your assignment this week is to take a photograph that has contrast in either line, like this photo that has different contrasting lines. Shape. For example, we have the geometric shapes of the buildings contrasted with these organic shapes of the clouds. Value, really, really dark against really light. Texture, two contrasting textures in a photo, or color, having two contrasting or opposite colors in a photo.